good. So everybody that is joining us, can you please go ahead in the Zoom chat, just let us know where you are tuning in from. And Fede, can you hit the chat button and can you see all the chat and the reactions at all in the comments and reactions tab of
I don't see any messages.
Oh, so you can't see it. Can't see
so
it.
Chat privately with the host and other guests.
Let me see if I can do that. All right, everybody. So welcome. We are going live, and we are going to do a session all about pricing. Now, obviously, as I've mentioned throughout this week, the focus, we may talk about the World Cup, but what we're going to talk about today, obviously, people can use when a big event comes to your town. This is obviously the FIFA World Cup draw is happening on Friday. I've got Fede in, who is an expert in this and is going to help loads with this, which is fantastic. But what I want to do as well is I want to just let everybody know that, yes, we're going to talk about cities and locations that you may not be anywhere near. You may be on the other side of the world from, but take on board the advice that Fede is going to share with us and what we're going to talk about. Because when a big event does come to your town, you can apply these same principles, which is what we've been sort of talking about all week. So let me, without further ado, we've got loads of people joining us, which is fantastic. I know you can't see the chat. I'm going to try and change it so you can see the chat while we're going. But we've got Danny in Los Angeles. We've got people from Seattle. We've got people in San Antonio. We've got people in the Gulf Shores. We've got people over here in the United Kingdom, in Scotland, Florida. So there's a big old room here. So let's bring our guest on. Fede, welcome. Everybody can see you and hear you. Just super quickly, while I try and figure out the chat, give a super quick introduction, who you are, where you are in the world, and why you are excited personally for the FIFA World Cup, being a big soccer fan.
Yeah, how you doing, Mark? Thank you for having me here. So I'm Fede or Federico. I'm from Argentina, so currently we're champions of the last FIFA World Cup. So you probably heard about Messi if you're not a big football fan.
Yes.
But yeah, I live in upstate New York right now, so we're snow. I've been in the short-term rental space for around 5 years. Before that, in the airline industry, where I learned a lot about revenue management. And we recently launched a revenue management company that's called Refactor, based on popular demand. I had people reaching out asking for us to do our magic on pricing based on other clients' feedback. So that's what we're doing. And of course, we have a lot of attention in the World Cup because we have properties that we manage and that we do revenue management in multiple of the venues that are going to be hosting matches.
Fantastic. So this is obviously a hot topic. And obviously you've got properties and, obviously looking after properties. And this has obviously come onto your radar. Now, just a quick, in the chat, we have everybody that is with us. So right now, if you don't know, we're streaming all over the internet. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, you name it, we're there. But we've also got a Zoom room open. So this is all the participants who have been taking part in the boot camp this week. We've got nearly 50 people in there, which is great. And we've got streaming everywhere else. And we've had people this week who have come into the group who, number one, they have got properties in the cities where the World Cup is going to be happening. Number two, we've got people who have got properties, maybe a 2-hour drive around the cities, and they're thinking, how will it affect them? And like I said, we've got other people that are on the other side of the world, and they're just sort of having a little tune in. We've done a couple of sessions this week. Yesterday was all about direct bookings, how you can scale and get direct bookings, which is great. Monday, we did a session on AI, leveling up our chat GPT-ness and all that good stuff. Today, I've saved it for the day, which is your day to shine, Fede. It's all about the World Cup and pricing. So we do have a screen. We have a slide. We were just planning, just before we came online, how's the best to show this. We can't do full screen, but we can do a little screen. So if I tap this, you will see in the right-hand side, there's a small little box. And these slides, and we will read them all out, so don't worry if you can't see them fully. And I'm going to ask Fede really nicely afterwards if he can send me a copy of them. And if you are in our WhatsApp group chat, I will post a link in there. And if you're not in the WhatsApp group chat, I will email a copy out to everybody as well. So we're going to, the main thing I want you to know, do not worry if it's a bit small and if it's a bit blurry, but just listen, and then we can
Yeah.
go for it. All right, Fede, the floor is yours, as they say.
Thank you, Mark. And something I want to share before starting is I personally attended two other World Cups. I went to Russia in 2018, where we got kicked off pretty quickly, Argentina. But this type of events require a total different planning because you really want to dive into the whole dynamic and economics around the World Cup. So what I want to start with is kind of like explaining a little bit what the World Cup is, because living in America but being from Argentina, I know that maybe there's not such a big understanding maybe about what the World Cup means for the rest of the world, and it's huge. It's already the largest event in the world, and I will share some data. But a little bit about the World Cup in numbers. Number one, it lasts 39 days. The first match is going to be in Mexico City on June 11th, and the final is going to be in New York City at the MetLife Stadium on July 19th. There are 48 teams, which is great because up to this point of the last World Cup, it was 32 teams, and they increased the number, meaning more travelers, more visitors to the properties. 16 venues, 11 in the US, 3 in Mexico, and 2 in Canada. 104 matches, 0.6 million visitors are estimated to come to North America, which is huge. More than $5 billion in economic impact across the whole cities. And again, it's the single largest event in the world, bigger than the Olympics and the Super Bowl. And this is measured by any metrics: viewers, visitors, days, economic impact, and even social media engagement. So this is huge.
I think the number there, just to point out how huge it is 5 billion. 5 billion in economic impact across the host cities, 5.6 million visitors. And like you say, when there's more countries taking part, there's going to be more people. This, like I say, people were sort of comparing it to maybe the Super Bowl coming to town, but no, this isn't the Super Bowl, because Super Bowl is
Nothing like
just two clubs, right? This is a level above. Just imagine Taylor Swift coming to town times 100, and this is the potential that you have here. And I've taken that slide, I've screenshotted it, thrown it into ChatGPT, asked it to write it out, and I've just pasted it into the Zoom chat so everybody can see the numbers. So I like this. So I'm just going to screenshot your slides as they go, throw it into ChatGPT, copy paste, and put it in the Zoom. So yeah, we're good to go. Thank you very much. Great start.
Yeah, perfect. And now, what do you need to know? World Cups don't behave like normal demand spikes, just like any other event. But again, a lot of these can be applied for other events, but this is like different. I'm gonna get into why. And basically, what it does is creates micro markets in every host city. And definitely, if you don't adapt early, you leave thousands of dollars on the table. And actually, I want to share something, Mark, if that's okay. I'll drop in the chat. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
But this is a listing that Gaston, my partner in revenue management, shared with me, which he told me this is the weekend of the semifinal in Dallas. This is a property in Fort Worth. Is priced at I think it's 456 for the weekend or for 2 nights. No minimum stay restriction other than 2 nights. This person is going to leave a lot of money on the table and probably is not aware of what's coming up next year.
You're going to put that in are you going to put it in a chat somewhere? Hopefully
I sent it in a chat with you, but I can probably email it to you pretty quickly. I have a link here.
So this is my worry as well. This is my worry for a lot of people, is that there's going to be a lot of people that are caught short with this, because, like you said, in America, maybe not so in Mexico, but definitely in America and Canada, there are a lot of people who don't follow soccer, which is totally cool. There are a lot of people that aren't aware of how popular this thing is, and there's going to be a lot of people this weekend in particular are going to get caught short, where instead of making a lot of money, they could potentially lose a lot of money. And people like this, and I'll paste the link in. So this is your a contact of yours, is this right? In Fort Worth.
No, it's not my. It's a listing that I found doing some research. That it's actually a competition because I have units in that same building. but it's a competitor, and he's underpriced and only 2 nights minimum for a semi-final match.
Okay, well, let me do this. Let me just quickly share my screen. So if I do this, and if I do this, let's see how this works. This is the beauty of the internet. Now let's see if this
Yeah,
works. So I've got the charming loft here. So can you see my screen, Fede? Yeah.
yeah, I can see it.
So this is the one. So this is how not to do it, folks. Okay. So I've put the link into the group chat and we're sharing it on my screen now. So for everybody that's tuning in. So as you can see here, this place is in Fort Worth. And so just
Yeah.
walk everybody through exactly what he is doing wrong here.
Yeah, so basically, this is Fort Worth, which is part of the DFW Metroplex. It's definitely a location considered part of the World Cup because it's in Arlington, which is in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. We get already traffic every time that there are like football matches at AT&T. So this is gonna be a listing that's gonna get booked for the World Cup. But again, for the weekend of the semifinal, it is priced cheap because it's literally the same price for that is pricing now the weekends, and a 2 night minimum stay. Which I'm gonna talk a little about the minimum stay that you want to have, especially in the beginning, because normally people come for 3 to 4 nights during the World Cup. They don't necessarily come the day of the match and leave the next day or the day after. Normally they stay for 3 or 4 days. Again, they're leaving a lot of money on the table. And something I want to explain is that occupancy is going to be a little bit weird depending on the matches, because you're going to have spikes of occupancy during around the matches, but in the middle, there's going to be a displacement of travel for normal reasons like business, events, corporate. So you're gonna have higher ADR, but lower occupancy may happen. And again, this is a missed opportunity.
Okay. So a question that's come in from Cynthia is, okay, so what is the normal length stay for people coming to 2 or 3 of these matches, for 2 of these matches? So what's like the data that you are seeing so far?
Yeah, so historically, I know each World Cup has different dynamics depending on the location, because this is what I want you to consider. Like the last World Cup edition was in Qatar, so it's only one city, and everybody was staying in one city, right? Which is pretty weird. The previous one was in Russia, and normally people were staying in Moscow or St. Petersburg and then traveling for 1 or 2 days for the matches when they were in like all the cities where people are not interested in staying. Here, what's going to happen is that you're going to have regions first for the groups. You're going to have the Northeast, you're going to have South, and you're going to have the East. Sorry, Northwest, East, and South. And I see two things happening. Either people are gonna move between cities and staying a little bit longer in between matches because it's like, okay, we're playing in Seattle, we stay in Seattle for 5 days until the next match, and then we move to the next city until the next match. So 4 or 5 nights is gonna be a normal length of stay. Other thing that may happen is that people are going to choose a base city in the region where the team are going to be playing, and from there taking flights for 1 or 2 nights to go to the matches. That's very common. So I can picture a lot of the Brazilian, Argentinian, and South American fans may find a place for a month in Miami and then travel back and forth from that place for the matches.
That is very true. So I've been able to take over the slides. I've got it in a nice, more easier, understandable thing. So we're going to rock with this. So you just let me know when you want me to move to each slide, okay?
Perfect. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and here's a map showing the different locations. As you can see, different colors are the different regions, right? So you can see, for example, if you're in the West region, maybe you're going to find a place in LA or San Francisco to stay during the group phase until you know if your team makes to the next round and where it's going to be playing. Maybe you book a place for those few weeks of the groups stages, and then you travel again, maybe for a day or two to go to each one of the cities, which maybe is not the traveler you want to 1 night or 2 nights. Maybe you want to get the ones that are actually staying in the city or coming for 2 or 3 nights and moving between cities.
Cynthia just put in the chat, this sounds like people are going to be spending close to 10K on a trip. Yes, and people will pay.
Yeah.
and people
People will
will.
splurge.
Mhm, and
I,
people
I,
will
I
pay.
want you to think something about the World Cup. You know how it's funny because I have one of my BS from South America here. He came to New York, and I'm showing him properties. That's why I client property right now. But I was telling him a little bit about the different cultural things I see with America and maybe other countries. Here in the US, we measure time between holidays, right? Between, I don't know, summers from Memorial Day to Labor Day. In countries like Argentina, we measure time between World Cups. And I can tell you, I remember each one of the World Cups I was doing, and did this happen before or after this World Cup? A lot of people work like that, so this is huge. People are saving for years to come to the World Cups,
Mm.
for years, and there's splurge. And you see people quitting their jobs to travel to the World Cup for a month. People selling their motorbike to come to like people do everything to come to the World Cup. This is like the dream of a lot of people coming to a World Cup.
Um, so this is there's so many things to unpack with this. So number one, in the
Yeah.
chat, everybody that is watching with us on the map now, let me know which city are you closest to and how far is it away? That's the first question. Second question to you, Fedi. In the slides that we're going to be looking at, do you touch upon anything where there are some cities like Los Angeles, for example, where there are regulations in place? Have you got any advice for that coming up? Are you going to be touching on that at all?
I don't have it. I don't have anything except for a comment, which is something that you have to expect seeing is something I've seen happening in other big events like Super Bowls, Taylor Swift concerts, which is people are gonna list their home on Airbnb, their primary residence, or in any platform for that for those days. And you're going to see a spike in not only occupancy and demand, also on inventory. And some people don't even pay attention to regulations because it's for one time.
Well, I will say as well, and this is something that has been kind of topical and it's been hitting the news in the last week, is Vancouver obviously has got a lot of
Yeah.
issues with regulation, but in Vancouver, nearly every hotel room is booked. Some hotel rooms are being quoted at $2,000 a night. So what is happening there, which happened in Edinburgh when it was a festival that came to town and happened around other places around the world where there's really strict regulations, is they are looking at ways now of relaxing the regulations during this time. So if you my advice is keep on top of all of your local laws, regulations, get on to your local congressman, etc., as much as you can do, and find out what's going on. For example, in Branson, Missouri, Tyan Marston Hammond is doing fantastic work on this, and they are literally opening the doors to people like Tyan, who just on the face of it isn't involved in politics in any way, shape, or form, but is making such an impact, and they are opening the doors to it. So yes, as we stand right now, December 2025, you may have lots of real strict laws in your area, but keep an eye on it because that may change. So the best thing to do is to get prepared, be ready, take this advice on board, because when it does, and if it does, then you can definitely take advantage of it.
Yep.
Okay, great. We are 9 slides in. So should we go to the next one?
Yeah. Next one.
Next one.
Yeah, so a little bit of what we know right now, and again, this is very important that you understand the context and what's happening at the moment. At the moment, lodging and flights are up to 70% already. The average travel is 12 days, and this is again because a lot of the people are coming for the group stages. A lot of things are going to be knocked off, so they're going to leave. Airbnb did a survey, they hired a company, and they forecasted 200,000 and 232,000, sorry, guests using the platform with an ADR of 142 based on the survey, because there's going to be a lot of demand for a studio and one bedroom apartments. So that's going to be very common. That doesn't mean that this is what you can charge. You're going to be able to charge way, way more. But this talks a lot about these people are renting their rooms, renting their primary residence for a weekend, which again, I've seen it happening in Super Bowls, Formula One races, Taylor Swift. So you got to keep in mind that you're going to be competing with a lot of more hosts out there. And also, not every city will see the same impact for two reasons. Number one, the number of matches that you're going to have, and number two, the fan bases that you get depending on the teams that you get. And down there, I have based on historical data, what are the countries that bring the more fans? England, France, Brazil, Argentina, and Portugal tend to bring the most number of fans and visitors. So it's not the same if your groups and the teams that you're hosting are one of these teams that if you're hosting maybe countries from that were football, soccer is not that popular or don't have a big fan base. So that will make a big difference.
So this comment that's just in the Zoom right now is everything that we're talking about. So Elena, again, thank you for the honesty and the transparency. I missed out last summer. There was a music festival an hour away. I never imagined that people would be staying in our little town for that festival. Every property I had in town was booked for guests attending that event. I asked if there were no rentals in the town where the festival was happening, and they said if anything was available, it was $3,000 for the weekend. I left a ton of money on the table. I learned my lesson the hard way that weekend. And this is why we're doing all of this weekend. This is why Fede is showing up and providing amazing resources and information. This is why we're showing up every day, because my worry is so many of you are going to leave money on the table. Tamara asked, please let us know the dates. And then Maria put a lovely little link into the FIFA website where the dates are. Now, what's really important is, like Fede says, there are going to be some games and some countries that are going to attract more attention than others. Okay, so this is why if you go to the FIFA website at the moment, Thursday, this is Wednesday, the 3rd of December, those countries will not know who they are playing against. On Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, the draw is going to be made, and it's probably going to last a couple of hours. So let's just say by 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday, everybody will know which countries are coming to which cities and which areas throughout all of the group stages. So you'll be able to properly plan ahead. So we'll talk about that later. So there's some really good questions coming in, but let's crack. Anything else you want to add on there?
Yeah, no, I just want to make two comments that are important. And I have some links and resources at the end of the slide I'm going to share with some case studies and reports, economic reports, and also the links to where you can see the dates of the matches. The draw's on the 5th, but they're going to announce the locations and the matches on the 6th. So that's also important. I haven't got into this, but something I want to let you know is my calendar right now for the workout dates are blocked. I didn't open them. I literally blocked the dates. A lot of people have them open really and really high rates. I just keep them closed. I'm gonna release later because anyone that is right now, they're just shopping just like for fun. Anyone that books right now is very likely to cancel. And anyone that sees your listing now extremely priced out and sees it may ignore it and not put it as a favorite. I just rather be optimally priced once I know who's gonna play at my locations, and then open the dates and show my listing.
That is massive. So, that is a huge little mic drop right there. So this has been the question that I have seen the most since we opened. So here's the question then. When are you planning on opening your dates, and what dates exactly have you blocked out?
Yeah, so we blocked all the dates that are on matches, and we put a very high minimum stay around anything that is not a match. And we plan to open on the 6th after we know exactly which teams are playing in which locations. Because again, the 5th, we're going to have the draw, we're going to know the groups. And we know each group where they're playing, but that doesn't mean that they're going to tell us exactly which match is going to happen in which city, which day. So, and I think I have a slide about that. So we're going to go to the next one, and I'm going to get into that.
All right, this is good. This is like setting up nicely. So are you all enjoying this? If you are enjoying this Zoom, please show Fede some love in the chat. Hit that love heart emoji button that is on there on the Zoom. Andrea's loving this. Show him some love. There we go. There's loads of love. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a lot in there. All right, cool. So we've set this up nicely for the second part of this Zoom.
Yeah, and I have a little bit more data. Something that's interesting to know is that some host and some visitors are come and travel without tickets. just to be in the city where the teams play, so they can plan for. So you need to plan for larger TVs and amenities. Like this is logic. Sometimes you come, but you didn't get to score official FIFA tickets. So you come and you follow your team. They're gonna be what is called the
Fan zone. Fan
fan
zone.
zones that they're gonna
Yeah.
put large TVs outside to watch the match, and maybe you try to score a resale ticket last minute, which is something I did. Again, when I went to Russia for the World Cup, we were in Moscow. Argentina was playing. I didn't get to go to the stadium, so I watched the match outside. But we were there, so
Hmm.
we were also driving bookings.
Hmm.
Again, there are three regions, as I mentioned. I also mentioned that Charles may choose a base city, but this may depend on the team, location, region. That's something you want to pay attention to. Um, and visitors are willing to be over 2 hours away from the venues to find good prices. So the core zone is going to be anything between 0 to 30 minutes of the stadium. That's going to be the highest ADR. What is called the commuter zone is going to be 30 to 60 minutes, and the metro is 60 to 120. But there's people that are even willing to stay further out if they can get a really good deal. So you're going to be impacted. If you are an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you are going to see traffic, but you're not going to be able to charge the same ADR that if you are 30 minutes away from the stadium.
Something to note as
Um,
well, I just want to say on top of this is don't rule out the locals who will want to escape, right? Again, the locals who are in these cities are going to be majorly pissed off with all of the extra traffic, with all of the extra attention, and they're going to be like, wow. And it's a plus as well, it's going to be the summer holidays in the schools when this is happening in America, so, and Canada and Mexico as well. So don't rule out, if you're 2 to 3 to 4 hours away from a city where this is happening, your marketing, instead of being to appeal and attract the people coming in, your marketing can be attracting the people that are in the cities to say, hey, escape. We are here. We're far away from it. You won't even hear nobody talking about soccer. Come and stay with us. So it works. It works both ways. Yes, you won't be able to get the same ADR of those in the cities, but you can still take advantage of it.
yeah, and that's a great point because I was mentioning that a lot of people are gonna put their primary residence up on for rentals. So you may see those people like opening their apartment in downtown Seattle and going 2 or 3 hours away so they can rent their apartment for the World Cup.
Mhm.
Um, And as of today, the only matches that we know are Mexico playing Mexico City, the US playing in A for the first match. So basically, the host countries already know what they are going to be playing because they are the heads of the groups, and Canada as well. But anything else is unknown right now. And again, December 5th is going to be the draft. We're going to know which teams are playing which groups. And on the next day, there's going to be a second TV show where they're going to actually announce exactly each match where it's going to take place for each one of the teams.
Yeah. So that's big. So
And
the
we can look for
December the 5th, the group will be announced. So England will know which group they're in. Argentina will know which group they are in. And then on Saturday the 6th is when they get placed in the city. So you'll be able to go, okay, so I know that England, Germany, whoever is coming to my city then. So massive. Okay, next slide. Brilliant. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, and this is the fixture that I was mentioning. So this is what you can expect to see. And again, you were asking about dates, and I think you have another slide. But basically, what you're gonna see is number one, we're gonna know about the groups, but we're not gonna know about the different phases until we see which teams are actually winning the groups. But you can start making some assumptions at some point, right? But again, anything that is after the group phase is going to drive good traffic because they're going to be all normally good teams, bring a lot of fans. So you can have more certainty even if we don't know who's going to be playing where.
Yeah.
But I can tell you there are certain teams, like for example, a lot of people want to see Messi playing. So Argentina's not only bringing Argentinians, are bringing a lot of people from around the world. And again, I've seen this. I've seen it in when I went to World Cup. I've seen people from all over the world, people with flags of Kazakhstan that they were there. I talked to the guy. Yeah, I came to see Messi. A guy from China. People want to see Messi, especially if he plays in his last World Cup. And that's happened. That also happens with other teams. So it's not only that they're bringing fans from their own country, it's gonna be other people that are following those teams.
Yeah, and obviously we have to mention Ronaldo as well. I know it pains for an
Ronaldo.
Argentinian to say Ronaldo, but we will say it. There's going to be a lot of attention. So there will be people that
That's
love
true.
soccer and their country will not maybe be focused or featured, but they will be traveling just to see these two legends playing their last World Cup. Now, this image on the screen, I know in the Zoom is a little blurry. So I've taken a screenshot of this and I've put it in the WhatsApp group chat. So you can go and check it out there. Like I say, we only know the group stages. Well, we will know the group stages as of the end of Saturday. But obviously as well, it doesn't just happen for those groups. You know, the higher we go and the more that the teams progress. And if you're one of the lucky people where like Los Angeles for the quarterfinals, I can see Dallas for the semi, Atlanta for the semi, and obviously New Jersey has got the final with the third and fourth playoff being in Miami. They're going to be higher prices and higher rates. So be ready for this.
Yeah.
This is lovely. All right, let me go to the next slide.
Yeah. So pricing patterns on the World Cups. I don't know what it says or, but you can expect 200 to 400% increase in ADR around the game dates, especially when you're close to the venues. But also, again, this is something I mentioned, and maybe you would not expect this. You will see a lower occupancy throughout the month. Why? Because a lot of the travel that you normally see, because we're talking about urban areas, right? We're not talking about vacation destinations like lake houses in Michigan. We're talking about cities. A lot of events and corporate travel, group travel that tends to happen during the year are going to avoid to go to those cities during the World Cup because that chaos is so business meetings and all of that is not going to take place as normal. So when there are not matches in your city, you may expect between the matches, if you don't have people staying for the entire time, a lower occupancy. The average length of stay tends to be 3 to 4 nights around the matches. I also explained about the Bay City that may happen, for example, in Southern Florida, New York, LA, and other cities. And again, there's going to be an increase in supply. I explained this as well, like it happened in Super Bowls and Taylor Swift concerts. Like, just to give an example, sometimes I go to RDNA or Priceless to do market research, and I find listings that are still active with kind of blocked for Houston for the Super Bowl that happened years ago. The listings still exist, and they're there. And something I really want to mention, and I'm going to talk a little about how you can get direct bookings for the World Cup, but the number one OTA abroad in South America and Europe and other countries is Booking.com, which is not very popular here in America. So you definitely want to consider being Booking.com if you want to get more exposure, because that's where most of people are going to be searching.
Sorry, I was going to say, let's do a little poll.
Yeah.
Give me a yes or a no. Are you currently listed on Booking.com? Give me a yes or a no. I'll be really fascinated. Quick poll. We've got Tamara, yes. Elena, no. Andrea, no. Lisa, no. Robert, yes. Joel, no. Danny, no. Karen, no. Mary, no. Seth, a few. Karen, no. iPhone says yes. Jenny says yes, but left. Chris, no. Cynthia, yes. And oh no, my gosh, I can't pronounce that name. I'm so sorry. Says no. Gary says no. So again, I know in America you really despise Booking.com, and listen, we get it. You know, as a Brit who's had to deal with them for years, I get it. But again, they are growing. So in America, with the short-term rentals, they are catching up with Airbnb, right? In the rest of the world, they are the go-to OTA. They are, in my opinion, I think they're bigger than Expedia, which is predominantly known as the biggest. And yeah, a Booking.com is awful. Dealing with the support is awful. But at the end of the day, it's business 101. If nobody can see you, nobody can buy from you. The more that people can see you, more people can buy from you. And as long as you've got a solid property management software tool, it already connects up for you. You just got to literally set up an account. And, you know, if it's going to be worth a couple of $1,000s to you, I think it's definitely worthwhile to do. Obviously, we want you to get those yummy direct bookings. That's what we're all about here. But at the end of the day, you've got to take advantage because Booking.com spend billions in ads revenue. Expedia spend billions. Airbnb spend a lot of money. So you need to take advantage of it. So that's a really good tip.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just a little story. When we went to World Cup in Russia, I was tasked with getting accommodation. We booked in Booking.com a hostel for 8 of us. Like, we're broke, right? We're young and broke, and we arrived to the hostel, and they were overbooked, and there were people sleeping on the floor. So we were in Moscow, just arrived. Next day was the start of the World Cup, and nowhere to stay. So I had to go and find another place, which I did. And it took me a few months to get a refund from Booking.com. But the good thing with Booking.com is that you can set up rates. And this is the thing that I'm going to mention in a moment, is your cancellation policy. A lot of people are going to be making speculations right now, and they're going to be booking multiple places because,
Yes.
I don't know where my team is going to play, and she's going to book this city, this city, this city, this city, making assumptions. Even for after the groups, because let's say your team qualifies first or second in the group, that's going to be a different city. We're going to know which cities, like Group A, head of the group is going to play in Dallas, and the second is going to play in Miami, for example. So I may book 2 places for now because I don't know if my team is going to play the next phase, if they make it in Dallas or Miami. So a lot of people are going to be booking, holding inventory from you, and then releasing before cancellation policy. So please check your cancellation policy. A lot of OTAs right now, like Airbnb and VRBO, allow seasonal cancellation policies, which my guess is they did this because of the World Cup. So not everybody changes now to a strict cancellation policy for the entire year. For your direct bookings, you can go and change it, or maybe making a second listing for the World Cup dates with a strict cancellation policy, because a lot of people, again, people are going to be speculating, they're going to be making multiple bookings and canceling. That's going to happen. And you don't want to fall into that trap.
This is really fascinating to me because it's not going against the advice that I've been hearing, but it definitely makes a ton of sense, and it's a nice little take on it. Is that you are so right now, and probably even on Friday, when people find out the groups, they are going to start booking. And with Airbnb now, with every single cancellation policy that they have, they've built in for everybody that 24-hour window. So you're going to get people that are trying to play the system that will book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 properties, and they're going to try and chance it. And then literally 24 hours within that 24-hour window, when you can cancel with no fee, they are going to cancel 6 of them and keep 1 when they know exactly where they are, because they want to try and, again, gamify the system, which is well within there, right? So the closing off of everything, blocking all the dates out until Saturday, whenever, or even Sunday morning, is a really smart play. And again, where are your properties, or where are your clients' properties in relation to the cities and to the games at the moment?
So I have Dallas. I actually own a property myself, 11 minutes from the stadium. So I'm excited. If Argentina plays in Dallas, I'll use it.
Of course.
But we have in Seattle, we have in a few are from New York, we have Southern Florida. So we do have a few properties in different venues. So yeah, not a lot in the main cities, but we do have a few hours away. But yeah, we do have some.
Okay.
We have in Houston, we have in Galveston. So we have a few.
Let's move on to the next slide, because we're doing well now. We're doing really well with this. So next slide.
Yeah. So some specific patterns from previous World Cups to give you some idea as well. Normally peak demand, again, is not the match day, but normally 2 days before. People like to arrive on time. They know that there may be travel disruptions. They don't want to miss a match. They want to arrive there and be with their friends and other fans. And again, team drive mini spikes when a country advances, booking hit instantly. There's not only going to be fans traveling. You're going to have corporate VIP, media, and FIFA Federation stays. And they are actually better than fans. Sometimes they're going to be drinking and having fun and, stuff like that. what you're gonna see is that one bedroom studios are gonna have higher occupancy, and larger homes are gonna have a huge ADR because again, a lot of people are gonna be splurging for these events. So you have larger homes, group of friends. Guys, to give you an idea, when we planned the trip to Russia, we started the group chat 2 years before. We were in my rooftop terrace in my apartment in Buenos Aires, and I told my friends, it's like, we gotta go. And we started a group chat that day 2 years before. So people are already planning this for years. It's not they're finding about this now. And again, important days to keep in mind. They've been doing some pre-sale. You're gonna have match assignments again on the 5th and the 6th. I'm gonna announce the venues, but they're not gonna be selling more official tickets until late 2025. So by the end of the year, maybe January, and then they're gonna be continuously releasing ticket sales. So you were asking about what days to pay attention to that you're gonna see bookings. You need to pay attention to that because it's not that I know that if I travel, I'm gonna get tickets. You need to sign up for FIFA. There's kind of like a lottery. You get assigned to buy tickets. You need to buy them, and if not, you gotta go to resell, which is pretty expensive. It's not that easy. So definitely go to the FIFA World Cup website and keep an eye on everything that keeps happening. Subscribe to any newsletter feed or follow it on social media to be on top of everything happening. And again, the knockout rounds, which is when we're gonna have more traffic and more bookings, is gonna be starts in June 28th.
So here's a really, really good question. And there's a lot of chat going on in the Zoom and people are chatting amongst themselves, which is great. So Maria put, could you please explain the benefit for us as a host to rush into opening the dates? Why don't we just wait as close as we possibly can to the date of the World Cup, especially if we're located very close to the venue? So what's the argument here? Why are we doing this? Like, what would you say to that, Fede? It's a great question.
It's a great question. It comes down to your tolerance to risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
it's like playing a game of chicken in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, this type of events in revenue management and pricing terms is called compression times. Compression is when demand normally outpaces supply, which is our favorite thing to happen. But there's a reality, and this has happened even in Super Bowls events. I remember in Phoenix a couple of years ago. Sometimes people play that game, they price way too high because they're not keeping an eye on what's happening in the market. And you may end up sitting on an empty property if you really shoot for the stars and you have no context of what's happening in the market. So again, it's up to your tolerance risk. I'm going to be opening now only the group phases, and then maybe pricing higher than what I want to get for knockout and the following stages of the World Cup, right?
Yeah, I like that.
This is the thing with revenue management. You gotta be constantly adjusting. You cannot just set it once and forget about it.
Yeah.
You gotta constantly be checking, okay, what is being booked? How much is occupancy at the moment? Am I pacing with the market? Am I pacing ahead or before the market? So pacing is basically how many bookings are you getting? So if I see that my market is at 50% occupancy, I'm at 2% occupancy, maybe you're really overpriced at this moment. And you may want to hold it, but again, just keep an eye that all people are already booking. So that's something that's important. It's just not about looking at your property. You need to understand the context, what's happening with your competition, what's happening with the market, and how things are constantly changing.
And I think what is really important to state here is that the World Cup is not like any other event that has ever come to town before, because it is not like a one-time thing. It's not like the Super Bowl that comes in and goes. You know, it's not like a Taylor Swift concert that sticks around for a few days and then goes. This is going to be happening for a whole month, and there's going to be a ton of reactionary as well. Like Fede says, you've got the group stages that people will know from literally Saturday who is where. But as of June the 20th, it's all going to be reactionary because that's when knockout stages happen. So all of a sudden, you could be in Seattle, and there's a lot of lovely Seattle chat going on in the Zoom. I know Ballard very well. I used to coach soccer there many, many years ago. But you could find all of a sudden in Seattle that your group stage game could have England versus Argentina in the quarterfinal or the knockouts, and that is just going to go ballistic. So I totally
Yeah.
understand what everybody is saying, and like I say, Fedi can come at this with like years of experience, and I feel like the advice is literally you do you. But what we don't want to happen is what happened to Elena a year ago, where she literally left so much money on the table, especially in 2025, for a lot of people in America, where international tourism is down to record lows for a long time since the
Hmm.
COVID days. And it has been tough and challenging. You have got that unbelievable opportunity to, as my father used to say, make hay while the sun shines, which is a very farmer thing to say. But this is your opportunity. So brilliant. Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next slide on this one. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, how to actually win the World Cup demand spike. So build your event pricing rules right now. So meaning just even if your dates are blocked, already put the pricing to make sure you're not opening something by mistake. Something I didn't put here, but something that you want to keep in mind as well, is that a lot of PMSs right now allow you to put restrictions on check-in and check-out days. Meaning the calendar is open, but you say guests can check in or can check out on this date, which I would suggest putting on the match date to make sure no one's taking something and you have a checkout on the match date and a check-in. We use that a lot for holidays, for example. I don't want anyone checking in or checking out on December 31st or January 1st. So something that we are using already. And again, you may want to add rate fences for different guest types. So again, if you want to say I want to have corporate, maybe you want to put length of stay discounts, but I would suggest otherwise to remove them at least for those dates. And again, your dynamic pricing should follow ticket phases, group assignment, nugget rounds, and team progression. And again, kind of like the window is 3 nights before, 1 night after. Normally is what people tend to do. 2 to 3 nights before the game, 1-2 nights after the game is what normally people tend to do. And as I mentioned before, a peak ADR up to 200 to 400 percent ADR.
So
depending on the city.
I like that. Peak for 200. Yeah. So again, and again, there's a lot of people here that will be, we talk about corporate, right? We talk about the business money. And there's going to be people here that, again, when it comes to corporate, and what's really important here is that you're going to get people booking stays, which will start in March. It will start in April. It will start in May, because people will be sending their staff and their workers over to these venues and to these cities to get prepared for it. There's going to be TV cameras, TV crews. There's going to be newspapers, sports, you name it. And the best bit of thing to do here is, even if you haven't got the contacts, just keep an eye out in your booking reports that are coming in, because if you can spot, let's just say, a potential business booking, right? If it's direct and you can see like the business domain, or something comes in where they say, "Hey, I'm booking for somebody else. This is a business day," then start to be inquisitive about it. Maybe drop a call in, just ask the question, because this could be the start of something really big. If you can get one business booking for the World Cup, then there's the definite route to get more.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Next slide coming in.
Right. So minimum stay strategy, I mentioned, like, again, I wouldn't do 2 nights stays, especially now, like maybe closer to the date. If you want to do like high ADR, lower minimum stay, like here's a game that you can play. You can say, because not a lot of people may allow 2 night stays, I cannot allow 2 night stays with a way higher ADR because you're gonna have less competition. But I'll prefer right now shooting for 3-4 nights, and then closer to the date, if I don't get any bookings, increasing the prices and lowering the minimum stay. So you see how you can play with that both ways. The other thing that you can do, and this is a little more complex price, and this is something we're actually going to be doing. If we allow 2 nights minimum, we're going to be priced way higher with a little discount if you book for 3 or 4 nights on those specific dates. Meaning that we can tailor to both potential guests, and we're offering to a broader number of potential bookers. And whether someone books 2 nights or 4 nights, I get the maximum outcome that I can get, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then again, for high impact cities, because this is the other thing when we're talking about venues. Some venues are just gonna see a few matches for the group round, the groups, and maybe they don't have any or just 1, 2 matches after that. But as the World Cup progresses, there's some venues that are not going to see more matches. So there are going to be some cities that you may, and again, base cities, you may want to have 7 nights minimum, then 5 minimum for group stage. So opening week 7 nights, group stage maybe 5 nights, and then it goes down to 3, 4 nights for elimination rounds. And definitely, again, if you are shooting for shorter stay, 3, 4 nights, keep an eye on the gap. Not everything has to be super priced, because in between matches, maybe there's going to be those drops that I mentioned. There's not going to be the regular travel in the city. So you may want to keep a high price on the match days, a way lower price on those gap days. I mean, someone books entire 7 days, they take the higher rate of the match days, the lower rate on the gap days, and you have a higher RevPAR, meaning a higher total revenue, right? That's how you don't need to go to a whole month and say, I'm going to increase my whole month for 100%. You got to be very strategic, very granular into the calendar. And again, you can, and something that we're also doing is going to price us and doing seasonality pricing rules for June and July. And the seasonal rules that we're doing are for the games to separate the World Cup behavior from the rest of the year.
So here's a question for the group, and we've got a lot of people now in the Zoom. There's a lot of people in there. Just give me a quick yes or no. Are you using Price Labs? Are you already using Price Labs? Are you on there? Are they taking care of it? Give me a yes or no. It'll be interesting to find out. We've got Lisa with a yes, Andrea with a yes, iPhone says no. Eleni is using smart pricing. Sarah is a yes. Robert, yes. We've got Beyond. So there's a nice mix of people that are using Price Labs and not.
Yeah, Price Labs or any other wheelhouse. I just work with Price Labs. But that's another thing. If you don't have Price Labs, dynamic pricing, what Price Labs does is it's not just the entire pricing strategy. Dynamic pricing is one of the many pricing strategies that you're going to apply into your property. And dynamic pricing is real-time adjustment of the price based on supply and demand. That's why it's important to have it, because it's a good fence or cover when I think it was Alina that she lost a lot of revenue on that event. Well, what Priceless does, and actually if you go to the calendar, I can show you later on my screen if I can share. It already shows you in the calendar in Price Labs, in your property calendar, when there are events. And sometimes I find events I have no idea about. Like I have property in Keystone by Mount Rushmore. And there's a week about a motocross event every year that is huge that I didn't know about. But because we do our research about events and Price Labs show you that, we already know. And maybe what Price Labs is suggesting you for the event based on your default settings is not what you want to get. That's why Price Labs it's not a whole pricing strategy. It's your starting point. Your starting point to understand how supply and demand is behaving.
No, absolutely. Let me just quickly go on to the next slide.
Yeah.
I think the important thing for everybody is like tools like Price Labs and whatnot is a fantastic, phenomenal. It gives so many people an advantage that, you know, when I was in the business full time 10 years ago, you know, in 2014, we didn't have it, right? And so it's been a massive tool and a help for so many people. But like you say, it's just a start. It just covers one element of it. So there's so many different elements, but it's a fantastic starting point for sure. Okay, next one.
Yeah, this is interesting because it goes against what I was saying, but this is actually having additional options. And this is something we're going to be doing because we are very granular on the pricing strategy and we want to have a broad number of options to offer to guests. And something you can do if you're really nailed down into pricing strategy and you know how to do it, but I'm just sharing here, you can also do one night stays, but with a really, really high ADR. But then you want to put additional discount for 3-4 night stays where you hit that ADR that you actually want to capture. Because again, what I need you to understand is that not everybody trip is going to be the same. You're going to have people searching for 3 nights, 4 nights a week, and 1 night stays as well. Those are going to exist. If you go and search for 1 night stays, I can tell you that the number of properties is going to be probably less than 10 or 5% of the total available properties in the market. That means that there's an opportunity for the traveler that's looking for a 1 night stay, which hotels are going to capture because hotels are going to allow 1 night stays. What you can do, again, is jack up the price 1,000% for 1 night stays and then offer a 50% discount if you book 3-4 nights or more, 2 or 3-4 nights. Again, what that is giving you is the opportunity to say, okay, if I book for a one night, I'm still making a lot of money, and then if I sell anything around that, it's good. Because what we're looking at here is the highest potential revenue you can make at the property. So again, this is something that you need to understand how to use pricing rules and how to make it happen. But if you know how to do it, it's a strategy that you can use.
I don't know if this is a question or if this is just a point, but Harvey has just put, if you don't do 2-night minimum stay, then you don't show up in search. Is that true? If you don't do 2 nights minimum, then you don't show up in search. I don't know if that's a question or if that's just a
No,
point.
you do show up. And that's actually when we did the previous bootcamp pricing webinar, I showed the example of how my properties in downtown Fort Worth will allow one night minimum in the weekends, and we capture more revenue because from 100 properties available during the weekend, most of the hosts require 2 nights, and if you're looking for one night, you only have like 10% of the supply available, and you can capture a higher ADR and sell 2 nights because you're going to have the traffic.
Yeah, I love that. And again, the one night thing is like definitely a big move. You know, if you can do it, and if you can play that game of chicken, and if you get your cleaners on board and you get your operations team on board, there are money to be made. Okay, so
I just want to share all the potential strategies that you can use, and it comes down to how much time you can put into this and how much how well you know how to implement this without backfiring at you, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and this is why people should hire revenue managers like your good self to help you, who will focus on this all the time. Okay, so pricing strategies. Next slide.
Yeah, so again, don't let your price off or smart pricing tool to autofill any small gaps. Go manually and make the tweaks. Again, don't rely just into setting and forget it on the smart pricing or dynamic pricing tool. Restrict or remove discounts for weekly and monthly discounts until the World Cup ends or during the World Cup. Other things you can do is block and convert large homes into entire home event units for multi-unit locations. So if you have 5 apartments in one building, you can create one listing for the 5 apartments because you have a larger groups traveling, and that's also an opportunity. And also, if you have children listings, keep them open at the same rate as the main listing. Like for example, if you do that, like you have one bill, a duplex, and you can either book one side, the other side, or the main. You may want to keep the same rate for the 3 listings to make sure you are not losing revenue. And again, different units attract different guest types and create separate demand streams. So another thing to keep in mind for those who have multiple properties.
Like it. More travel pricing strategies.
Yeah, and track pickup daily using neighborhood data. Second chart. So if you use price as something that's called neighborhood data in your main screen when you're doing the pricing, and there you're gonna see what is called pickups. That's number of bookings happening for dates. You want to keep an eye on that. Again, this gives you demand waves. Monitor Airbnb and your property calendar. Again, to identify sudden jumps. So when you suddenly start getting a lot of bookings for a day and you don't know what's happening, that's something you want to keep an eye on. And again, as I mentioned, having a separate World Cup base price. If you use price apps or any other pricing tool, you put your base price, and the base price determines the rest of the pricing. But what you can do is create a seasonal profile with a different base price for the World Cup dates. If you don't want to get too manual into doing all the pricing, at least that's going to help you make sure that PriceLabs is not going to price your property for the World Cup based on the current base rate. And again, as I mentioned, protect pricing windows with avoid auto-filling small gaps, because PriceLabs sometimes does that, where it's just like if you have a setting by default of discounting gaps, it's gonna drop the gap significantly, and maybe that's not what you want to do.
All right, fantastic. So we've gone through tons and tons and tons of pricing. There's lots of people chatting. I think the one night stay policy is like Marmite. I don't know if you've ever had Marmite, but in the UK, you either love it or you hate it. It's a spread that goes on toast, and the one night is definitely in the Zoom chat. People are either loving it or hating it, which is really funny to see. So we've done pricing. Now, this is the next thing that I love to see is ranking and SEO optimization. So this is some really cool tips that you can all be getting ready for. So definitely pay attention to this.
Yeah, so these are the type of things that people are going to be looking for, and you want to be optimized 6 to 12 months before. Updating titles with neighborhood and key attributes, using game-ready amenities, a smart TV definitely, because again, a lot of people are going to travel but not actually going to matches, or they want to watch all the matches to see what's happening around the
Yeah.
World Cup. Maybe plan for extra accommodation and bedding for the World Cup. Workspace could be useful because some people are going to be working while traveling for World Cup, doing remote working. Parking, and even adding like Spanish, Portuguese, German, other language captions, for attracting other travelers. It's going to be a lot of international demand, which we may not see often in our markets. And
So
also description. Sorry.
I was going to say a cool thing that you could all do. Let's just say on Saturday, right? Saturday afternoon, when the games are decided, and you know that, say, Spain, right, are coming to your city, and let's say Germany are coming to your city, you can go quickly on Canva. You can take your images that are on your Airbnb listing, say, and you could just put some Spanish, some German flags or whatever flags on the image, like literally nothing more than putting the flags on, having a little World Cup symbol in the bottom right hand corner, doing something on Canva, and uploading that to your Airbnb listing as the first image that people see on the search. Because if you think about it, if people are searching on Airbnb, Verbo, and they're looking, they're scrolling, if they see their country's flag, they're going to go, oh, what's that? And they're going to click on it. You're going to stand out from everybody else on the search. And again, if they can come in, and if you've got one of your images is with Canva, which has got in Portuguese or in Spanish or in German, again, they're going to go, oh, wow, this company is on it. So what you can do now, and again, it's not going to be forever, right? It can literally just be for the weekend, or it could be just for like the next few days, but it could be something that can grab the attention, and you can reuse those images on your social media channels. You can reuse those images on your website if you set up a specific World Cup page on your direct booking website. So you can definitely reuse those images, and it's super simple to do. It'll take less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I have a picture like that as an example.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the next one.
Yeah.
I know I have a bunch of slides left, but there are a bunch that there was just there in the presentation, but we're not gonna go through, which is about the service. But again, cancellation policies. A lot of people are gonna be shopping for planning and then canceling. A lot of people, again, a lot of people booking now can cancel unless you have a really strict non-refundable policy. But Airbnb and VRBO, they offer seasonal cancellation policies. Use them and change your policy for their bookings, or create a separate listing for those dates with that calendar open for those dates with different cancellation policy, if you can do that. And for direct booking capture, something you can do is go to if you go to Facebook, there are already groups like that's Argentines to the US, Mexico, Canada 2026 World Cup.
Wow.
So there's already a group with 25,000 members with 2 posts a day. You can go there, drop your link to a direct booking website, and you can get direct bookings.
Sorry, Freddie. Did you know, just so a quick yes or no in the Zoom chat, did you know that there are Facebook groups set up already for the FIFA World Cup around countries visiting? Give me a yes or no. I'm going to guarantee that the majority of people are going to say no on this one. So that is something, and again, I did not know that. So I've learned something new there, which is fascinating. So again, go and join these groups. You don't have to be with them forever. You can ignore them 99% of the time. It's talking about boring football or boring soccer, but go in every now and again and just pay attention to them. Drop your links in. Sorry, keep going, Freddie.
Yeah, you can also build a landing page for the World Cup for your booking website. You can have a fun package. You can offer extra amenities and stuff like that. You can plan. Another thing I would suggest is plan to download WhatsApp, and I know you can hook WhatsApp to your direct booking website because that's the main channel of communication for outside of the US.
Yeah,
every country they use WhatsApp, but also when you're traveling internationally, it's the easiest way to communicate because WhatsApp works out of Wi-Fi when where a lot of phones are not going to be able to text when they're abroad.
Another thing you can do as well. So this is like guest communication. This is guest experience. So a lot of guests will be traveling to the US, right? And you're right. When they land, right? Say they land, they've been on a long flight and they need to quickly get on and they're not on the Wi-Fi. You can send them links to eSIMs, right? So there's a really cool one that I use all the time. I think it's called AIRLO.com. Easy for me to say. So that's basically eSIMs all over the world. And you can pop a little email together that you or your VA can send out when a guest books for the World Cup and just say, hey, just to make your life easier. And if you know they're coming from abroad, just say, go ahead and grab this eSIM. It'll just make life a whole lot easier when you're roaming, so you don't have to rely solely on Wi-Fi you're in. And again, if you send that to somebody, then the guest experience for them will just go through the roof because it shows that you are paying attention and taking into consideration them.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Yeah, and the last thing is if you plan to run meta ads, target country of origin, diaspora communities, because that's the other thing. I'm Argentinian. I live in the US. I'm gonna go to the World Cup. So, I'm tired, of course, football interest. I put jokingly not soccer because we call it football outside of the US, but definitely put soccer. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I think the meta ads one. I did a bit more of a deep dive on this on social media this week. Is such a good play because for not a lot of money. And again, if you know that, say, England is coming to your city, you can run really targeted, specific ads to England around the FIFA World Cup football. And you can specifically put down, we are providing accommodation. And because it's super, super specific, it means it's going to be super, super cheap in the cost, which is really cool. All right, red flags. I love this bit.
Yeah, this is something to keep an eye on because unfortunately there's gonna be a lot of and I put a statistic there and I have a link to that article. U.S. banks risk at a red card at 2026 FIFA. There's gonna be fraud happening. It's very common with international travel. What I would suggest if you use Stripe as your payment processor, something really good is that you can collect payments in USD and home currency, but definitely activate 3DS, which is a 3D security on your payment processor, which that means that when someone is using a credit card on your website to book, they're going to have that verification code sent to the owner of the credit card, and that removes the liability from you if there's a chargeback. I put instructions there. So basically, you go to Stripe, settings, radar, sign up for, it's a 2 cents per transaction, which I think is worth it for the level of risk and what you can lose, especially in the World Cup if you get a chargeback on a $2,000 or $3,000 booking. And then you just go and create a rule on chargebacks. Yeah. So that's the steps when you share the.
I think if you need more information on this, because it is super important, again, use ChatGPT, use Google, but definitely go ahead and plan for it. So let's wrap it up then with the hospitality tips and tricks.
Yeah, we're almost done. So early check-in and late checkouts are gonna be a great upsell because a lot of people are gonna be traveling, especially international travel, which many times you have all arrival times. Like all of the flights coming from South America to US tend to arrive 6 a.m., 5 a.m. They depart overnight and they land in America 5, 6 a.m. Feature distance and transportation options to venues, and you can add again touches like match day kit, like snack baskets, bottle opener, beer suggestions, stuff like that.
Love it. Yeah, the more that you can be looking to provide a service for people that are coming for the soccer, for the football, you will just stand out head and shoulders above anybody else. Like people will literally have such a good experience. They'll be, just imagine the social media tags and things that you'll be able to do with this. Absolutely. So you've got some resources now as well.
Yeah. So those are links that where I pull some of the data, and also you can check the last one is where you can follow the fixture and what is happening. So yeah,
cool.
That's
I've taken a screenshot of that just now and I've put the links in the WhatsApp group chat so you can go and look at them in your pleasure. So, what I would love you to do, just for the final couple of minutes, please tell me a little bit more and tell everybody about Rev Factor. Tell everybody what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you can help. But most importantly, where people can go to find out more information about you, please, Fede, because this has been phenomenal. Can we all
Yeah,
please say thank you, Fede, in the chat? This has been so enlightening, even to me as somebody that has been geeking out on this for the last 10 days now. I have learned a lot. So yeah, just give us a quick overview of what you're doing at Rev Factor, please.
absolutely. And pretty quickly, I think I deleted the slide where I had the photo with the flags and the distance to the venue. I should email it to you if you want to show it
Yes,
when we
please.
finish,
Yes,
because it's
please.
exactly what you were talking about. I put an example. I deleted the slide by mistake. The other thing that you can do pretty quickly is if you have a photo of the living room, go to ChatGPT and drop the photo of the living room, drop a photo of the World Cup, whatever branding, and ask ChatGPT to add a photo as the image on the TV and put that also as one of your top photos.
Nice.
But yeah, that said, Red Factor is a company that we started a couple of months ago and it's been growing incredibly great. Where we are taking the stress of doing all this pricing of your plate. So what we're doing is we take your listing, we help you number one with listing optimization to make sure that you're optimized to pair revenue and a good pricing strategy with a good positioning. Then we do the whole year strategy planning and deployment in the properties. And we don't need to go through all the slides because it's a bunch.
It's okay.
If you
It's
want to.
okay. It's okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just give us a quick overview. So obviously you do a lot, and these are some of your client wins.
Yeah. So, for example, this property in Hillside, New York, we took it in July 2025, and they already made, compared to last year, $12,440 more in Q4, which is not finished. So it's an average of $4,000 more. This one in Minneapolis, she's making more than $3,000 more a month since Q3 compared to previous year. This one in the Bourbon Trail, same thing, $2,223 more a month since onboarded, and this one $2,833 more. So basically, it's a service that it pays for itself, and also you're buying back your time. Pricing starts at $320 a month, and it goes down 10% per additional property. And for larger portfolios, we also have an enterprise pricing that you can reach out to me about. And it's a 12-month contract with a price warranty that if you think we're not performing and we can prove it with the data, no problem, we can cancel the contract. And we charge a $120 onboarding fee that for today, for people attending, we're happy to waive at this time.
Amazing. So how do people get in contact? That is what people are asking. Is it revfactor.io? Have I got the right website?
That's exactly, that's there. And also we're doing free pricing audits, so you can submit your list now there, and we're gonna look into your pricing, give you some suggestions, and then we can take it to a call from there.
Amazing. Fede, thank you so much for that. And again, everybody is saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you in the chat. Please tap the love heart emoji button. All those amazing things. That has been phenomenal. This will be one to come back and watch the replay on for sure. And for everybody that is going, where can I watch the replay? Well, you should know by now. It's over on Facebook. Come into groups, tap on the Boost Your Bookings Bootcamp. These videos are going to stay up here for the rest of the week. We've got questions in here. I've got another post that is going to be coming later on around this. We've been dropping so much things all week. And again, some really, really, really good questions that have been coming in here. So everything is recorded on here. If you're not on the Facebook group, then you can literally head over to YouTube. It's in the YouTube channel for the Boostly YouTube. You can go and check that out as well. Come over to the Boostly channel, come into the live videos, and you will see it. And again, it stays here for the rest of time, so you can come back any point, anytime, and catch these replays, because this is definitely going to be one to come back. Now, before we finish them, Fede, the main things that people have to pay attention to. So if you could just say to people, right, do these 3 things before, say, Saturday, the 6th of December, what would be the main 3 things that you would get everybody to do?
Yeah, so I'll say number one, check your pricing settings to make sure you don't have anything that may lower your pricing automatically. Price higher change your minimum stay, and then stay on top of all the news about what's happening with the World Cup and what is happening with your market, especially in terms of like how is pacing and the pickup, meaning how it's getting occupied for those dates.
Would you recommend everybody block out the dates until we know more on Saturday? And what time is the thing on Saturday? Sorry, is it the same time on Friday or
I'm not sure what time it is right now, but it's probably gonna be during like
the daytime?
in the noon, yeah,
So
daytime.
let's just say between now. So would you recommend between now listening to this call, which is what now 2 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday, the 3rd of December, until let's just say Saturday, the 6th of December, 2 o'clock Eastern. Would you recommend people block out their dates for the group stages of the FIFA World Cup?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Okay, that is fantastic advice. Okay, this is One Toe Rochback. If you've got any follow-up questions, please come into the Facebook group, everybody. There's a ton to get in here. Please do go to revfactor.io. Go ahead and book that pricing audit and speak to Fede and the team, because they will literally pay for themselves, even with just this advice in itself. So fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. We're going to let you go. This is the end of the live videos for the Boost Your Bookings Bootcamp. I may potentially maybe do something on Friday night, potentially maybe, which will be 5 p.m. Eastern, potentially maybe. Let's just see how I feel after doing it this week. I am literally coming down with the cold. I can feel it because my 3-year-old has been poorly all day. But Fede, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you, Mark.
We've had 100 people tuning in at one point this evening, which was, it just goes to show the excitement around this. So thank you so much, everybody. We'll leave it there.
Thank you all.
Amazing. Take care. Have a good week, everybody, and good luck, and make lots of money next week, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
That's it.